And good morning, everyone. Welcome to this day. It is May 4th, and may the 4th be with you, right? Go out and celebrate. I think I will maybe a little bit later. We are going to have some nice weather. I'll tell you about that in just a moment. On our show today, I sat down with Don Tibbetts with United yesterday, and we're going to bring you that segment today. He's going to talk about the M&C Committee, some of the projects that they are working on. Now, before we show you that, I'm going to be with Mary Navarro. Mary is running for the Orange County Board of Education for the 5th District, which is this area here. So we're going to get her views on things, ask her why she's running, get her background, and that'll be in just a couple minutes. That'll be our first segment. Going to bring you also a segment from Sterling Financial Advisors, and then the Western Bluebird Club, where I had a chance to walk out on the golf course where one of the Bluebird boxes are and speak to Danny, and he is with the Western Bluebird Club. So really interesting segment. I learned an awful lot on that. Now, meetings today, there are a couple. Third Board has their agenda prep at 9:30, and they will have that in the Sycamore Room. Then at 11, they have a special meeting also in the Sycamore Room, and I think that is, they're looking for candidates to be on their board to fill 2 open areas or 2 open board members. So I believe that's what this meeting is about. Now, let's get to the beautiful weather that we are having, and what a difference a couple days make, right? Just the other day, we had a little bit of rain come in. We were down to like 62 degrees. Here we are 2 days later, and we're 20 degrees warmer as this high pressure system builds in. We may get a little bit of offshore wind. I don't expect much at all. It's not that strong of a system, but we're going to be in the mid to upper 80s over the next couple days, and things will start to drop down as that morning fog comes back, and that trend will continue all the way into next week. So just some beautiful spring weather here as we make our way into the first weekend of May. Now let's look around the state, and around the state this weekend, you'll definitely have warmer weather today and tomorrow, and things will begin to cool off in many areas on Sunday. And you can see, for an example, Yosemite, I have 73 degrees, which is beautiful. They'll be a little bit cooler than that. They'll probably be more like 67, 68 on Sunday. Up there in Lake Tahoe, that's South Lake Tahoe that I gave you the temps for at 67 degrees. Locally, look at Arrowhead. 75 degrees is their average for the weekend. In Palm Springs, about 102. They'll be today and tomorrow, and then they'll drop Sunday a bit, but still real toasty out there. Even San Diego, 83 degrees. So absolutely beautiful weather throughout the state. A little bit of partly cloudy skies up there in Northern California and the Bay Area, but pretty much that'll clear up, and they'll have good sunny afternoons up there. All right, we'll be back in just a moment.
I'm a strong believer that there's something for everyone out there. But some people never stop searching. I've looked long and hard through these parts, and I thank my lucky stars I stumbled across a special place, a unique place, where you never know what you'll find. The Trading Post, only on Channel 6.
And with me right now is Don Tibbetts. He is, of course, on the United Board. Welcome back. Always good to see you.
My pleasure, Ken. Thank you.
Hey, you are welcome. Now, we've got 3 or 4 things to talk about today, and the first one is the fencing, the Shepherd's Crooks, right?
Yes, we discussed this a little bit, and since our first discussion, it went to the M&C Committee, and right now we are trying to decide where to start. At one time, we were talking about the Valencia area, but now other members want other areas, so we have decided to get security involved and find out where most of the illegal entries are occurring, and most of them are in the Gate 1 and Gate 5 area.
Okay.
So we're waiting for security to give us a recommendation, and then we'll probably go from there.
Okay, and of course, Third is doing their own program over
Yes.
on, I think, off Ridge Route, at
Yes,
least
they are.
for the time being. And you folks did it a while back, which was behind what was the former Vaughn store, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and now we have looked at all of the fencing. We're going to do all of it, but we can only afford about 900 feet a year.
Yeah.
And the Gate 5 and 1 have low walls and a lot of cut barbed wire, and we've had a lot of entries in those areas, so that's probably where we'll start.
Okay, very good. Now, something we've talked about over the years many, many times,
Yeah,
and that's the toilet replacements.
yeah, that started in 2014, and it's been a great program. It's reduced our water consumption quite a bit, and as of last week, we have replaced 4,337 toilets to the low-flow toilets, and we are going to continue that. We aren't sure how many are left because many of the new residents put in their own. We could always find out the exact number, but there really isn't a need right now, so we'll just continue replacing as we go along, and it should be finished within a year, hopefully.
All right, very good. Yeah, I remember when that started.
Oh, yes, it's
Yeah.
been a while.
Big project.
Yes.
Now, a couple things, last couple things you want to talk about, they kind of go together. The pipe leak remediation and then the epoxy waistline.
Yeah, that we have, we've been going down, we keep track of, we've been going down in the water leaks every year for the past few years, except this past quarter we jumped way up. And so we're going to take a
Interesting.
second look at it. We've been going along well on this, and staff has been doing an excellent job, but we have to decide now whether to increase the program or keep on at the same rate we're going now. Besides the water leak, it creates a lot of damage, and that's
Oh, of course,
expensive
yeah.
on the flooring and the walls. And if we increase the rate that we want to fix these leaks, we may have to consider dropping other programs. So that's where the problem is right now. The
Okay.
board will make a final decision. It's been suggested that we drop the exterior sewer line or exterior epoxy program.
Okay, and
Yeah.
that's, of course, from the main line out.
Main line
basically.
out.
Yeah.
And we just signed a new contract with those people. It's Specialized Pipe Technology. They're excellent. They can line pipes as small as 1 inch in diameter.
Wow.
And we might reduce that or might keep it at the same pace depending what the board wants to do.
Okay.
If we kept that program as is, along with becoming more proactive on the water leaks, then we would have to consider raising assessments. And that's always a bad thing for residents.
Yeah.
But we're going to talk about it with our budget coming up. In fact, MSC has their first budget meeting in about 2 weeks. And all the residents are invited to sit in, and we'll try to answer those questions and make recommendations to the board of which way to go. And staff does an excellent job in giving us detailed input of what we need, and we take that input along with what the residents are asking, and we make a final determination early, probably by September is the final cutoff date.
Okay.
And that's about it.
All right, very good. I appreciate you coming on. Anything else you'd like to add, or?
No, that's about all, Ken. I appreciate the time.
All right, always good to see you.
My pleasure.
And we'll let you know when the next United M&C meeting is. Obviously, we're starting in a budget meeting, so a lot of these are pre-budget kind of meetings, right, where you're just getting started.
We're just getting started, yes.
Yeah.
We're gathering the information, and we'll get in a lot of detail in 2 weeks, and then probably have another meeting over there to make recommendations to the board.
All right, very good. Good to see you, Don, as
My
always.
pleasure.
You take
My
care,
pleasure.
and
Thank you.
we'll be right back.
Hi, everybody. I'm Sean Thomas. Welcome to Sports Talk. Come join me here every Thursday at 11:30 a.m. for sports highlights, tournament news, and interviews for Laguna Woods residents and around the world. Hey, maybe even Broadway. It's a beautiful day for a ball game. Put it on your calendar. Thursday mornings, a great way to start your day with me and the Sports Talk way. Or even a triple's okay. I'll see you then.
Well, with me right now is Mary Navarro, and Mary is running for the Orange County Board of Education, the 5th District, which is pretty much South Orange County. So welcome. I am pleased to have you on here today.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate this opportunity, and good morning, Laguna Woods and the villages.
Yeah, it's great. Well, as someone who has a child that is in the 6th grade and a wife who teaches 5th grade, this is important to me as well. So let's first get to know you. What is your background, and why are you running for the Orange County Board of Education position?
Well, I am a 3rd-generation California educator. My mother and grandmother were some of the first female principals in our state, and I'm very proud of that. So this is part of my legacy. I would say education is in my DNA, and I'm still doing a lot of education. I participated in the Emeritus over here at Saddleback, and I enjoyed taking art classes there. So I believe in lifelong learning, where if you're not learning, you're not living. So,
that's true.
But my career began in San Jose. I was teaching English in the cannery to many of the field workers and to all of the farmers and the kids in the community. And that led me to follow in my family's footsteps of being a teacher. So I've been a principal, I've been a classroom teacher from 7th grade to junior college, and I've taught English and drama and speech and debate. And so and all of those were fun years. And then I wanted to do more, so I got my master's in education and became a principal. I've been a principal at all the different grade levels, including charter schools.
In this area here?
Not here.
Okay.
I retired here.
Oh, that's right. You said you were up in Sacramento.
Yes,
Yeah,
I moved to Sacramento, and so most of my career was in Sacramento and in the San Jose area. And so after 38 years, I was assistant superintendent in a large urban school district like Sacramento with 93 schools, 63,000 students, and a smaller, more rural, but that was at Scotts Valley. You may know Scotts Valley.
I know
It's
Scotts
just
Valley,
it's
yes.
just outside of San Jose. So I've
It's where Santa's Village used to
it's
be.
where
Remember
Santa's
that?
Village used to be. So I've had the full spectrum, and even currently now I'm coaching new administrators through the County Office of Education as they receive their master's program. So I've been in it my whole life. I'll be in it till the day I die.
So what are some of your top concerns and reasonings for wanting to be on the board?
Well, I would say what prompted me, I was happily retired and sitting on the beach, and then Betsy DeVos cut our national education budget by $9 billion. And she's also wanting to cut before and after school programs and free and reduced lunch. And having worked in low-income communities, I know how important those services are. So that was the lightning bolt that kind of hit me and said, okay, get back into your suit. So I jumped back into my high heels and suit and decided I would run. I've had really great supporters like Susie Schwartz and the California Teachers Association who've endorsed me, and so has the classified staff has endorsed me. So I decided that we need somebody who really knows how to ask the right questions, what the right questions are, because you really have walked in those shoes. So I've spent decades doing that, and so I feel capable and competent to stand sentinel for public education.
All right, let's talk about a couple things and a couple issues. One of them, and we were talking about this right before we went on, is the per child funding and how it varies depending where the district they're in, the school they're in, and so on. And some people might say, well, why not pay the same amount for every child in the state? And in some cases, there are areas throughout the state, I think even in Orange County here, that are still considered kind of a rural agricultural district, even though they aren't anymore. So what's your take on that? Should it be even across the board? And then if a certain district or school needs extra funding for some reason, what's your take on that?
Well, first of all, let me start out by saying California is the 5th largest economy in the world, right after Great Britain. And we are funding our schools 46th in the nation. So ADA, average daily attendance, is how schools and districts get their money, and it's always based upon the previous year. So we are currently experiencing declining enrollment for a couple of reasons. People are having smaller families, and the cost of living in Orange County is so high. So we're experiencing declining enrollment. So that means schools aren't getting as much money as they used to because they have fewer students. However, our students have greater needs now more than ever. So I do believe we need to have some kind of a sliding scale, if you will. What we do is we have limited budgetings for certain populations. So poor, we take care of foster youth, we take care of the homeless youth, we take care of low-income youth. We take care of all children. That's what public schools do. They welcome all children. So the funding is really decided by voters. The Prop 13, when I first started teaching, meant that I got a pink slip for 10 years before I ever got. It was tenure that finally gave me some security and safety. But we do have funding for minority populations, for low income, for special ed, and they do need more services. That's not to say that the average child isn't getting their services, but by pooling all that money together, we can give better services to all students, even the most needy of students.
Okay, another big topic, and we've heard about this really across the country, but obviously we're talking about your district in this area that you hope to be a part of, are charter schools.
Yes.
And we can explain what charter schools are. A couple around here people certainly heard of is Oxford. That's one. The Orange County School of the Arts, which is up in Santa Ana. That's a little bit different because you have to apply to get into there with the others. It's a school, it becomes a school of choice.
Yes.
So explain, if people don't know, what a charter school is and your position on those.
There's dependent and independent charters. Dependent charters are authorized by the district or by the county. So the performing arts school that you're talking about is authorized by the county, like Samuel L.E., which is a school for foster youth. So they're authorized, and that means they're overseen by program and financial funding to make sure that the tax dollars that are going for those children are being spent appropriately. Likewise, we have some charters that are in our school district.
Right.
My concern is I'm not a fan of for-profit charters. As soon as we start making our students a profit center or a market, I have grave concerns. So I think charters, I've been a principal of a charter school. I know what that is like, and the purpose of the charter is to meet a need that isn't being met by the district. So to just come in and have, I know people want choice, but we have really great schools. We have some of the best schools. We're serving almost 500,000 students here in Orange County, and we just got 48 more distinguished schools identified in Orange County. And people may not know this, but Orange County is the 3rd largest county in California, the 6th largest county in the nation. And so we do have a lot of diversity, and it's really interesting that people want to change so much of public education. Charters have always been a part of public education. This attitude of making it controversial or competitive, I don't think is healthy for anybody. I think we need to have schools that meet children's needs, and children's have many diverse needs.
Okay, and just so people know, charter schools like Oxford is a good example. The money sort of follows the child to the charter school rather than the district. It is part of the district, but
Yes.
money goes
And right now, there's a little scandal
Yeah.
with the Oxford Charter right now. And
Yeah,
this is,
and the only reason I'm saying them, that's nothing for or against
No.
them. People hear of them.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
it's just a name people know of.
Yes.
So I want to make sure that I don't want to get anything about them.
Yeah.
It's just people know of them, and there's
Well,
many other charter
The
schools.
problem with some of the for-profit charters is they can take taxpayers' dollars, like you say, the money
Right.
follows the child to the school. What I'm concerned about is when those for-profit charters wrap their charter in an LLC, you're no longer able to see where that money is going. And in many cases, not all, there have been fraud and misappropriation of funds and some abuses of our tax dollars. So I think it's really important that charter schools do what public schools do. They have to be held accountable by an elected board. We have to be able to see their funding and make sure the money is going directly to the children and not going to, some founder or board that isn't really providing instruction to the students.
Okay, another thing along that is homeschooling, and I know the Capital District, and I think and Saddleback has started this up as well, is doing sort of an online program. The student, we're talking about elementary here, goes into a particular school maybe once a week for a couple hours, so the sort of the teacher that is overseeing that looks at their work, and it's usually, if I'm not mistaken, a lot of times K through 8. In some cases, it's even K through 12. But what's your take on that?
Well, one of the charters that I work for was that I ran was exactly one of those schools. We had like science where most parents don't have a lab that they can do appropriate science experiments. So we called students in for specific lessons, but much of their work was done independently and then overseen by their parents. So I think that is one of the choices.
Okay.
That's not a choice for every child. I know my children. I have a 30-year-old who has graduated from Harvard and Stanford, and he loved school. He wanted to be with people.
Right.
But there are children who are doing other things. I know the Capo Charter had one of the students who was on the Olympic ice skating team. So that's a way for them to get their education.
Okay.
So there are many pathways to success, and that's what public education needs to provide.
Okay, now, one other topic is the California Healthy Youth Act, which in another sense could be called sex education in a way. The name kind of changed, it's morphed and things. But what does it mean to the schools, in your view, and to the students?
I really, I'm going to respectfully decline that statement about sex education, where that is not what it is. It is health and sexual reproductive education. So I think when people hear sex education, they think, oh my gosh, what are we teaching kids? Well, we are human beings, and we have a body, and we have emotional experiences, and that's part of education. So the California Healthy Youth Act evolved about 2 years ago, and now it is law that we have to provide instruction to students. What I think is really great is the curriculum is available at the district office. Go down and look at the curriculum. Please don't listen to some of the rumors and misinformation that's being propagated out in social media. You have the right to see the curriculum. Please go see it. I think the other thing too is if you feel like your child is not ready for that, you have the option to opt out.
Right.
So again, we have choices, but I think it's still very important. I was a middle school and a high school teacher, and we have reduced the number of teen pregnancies, HIV, and sexually transmitted disease because kids have information. And when you know more, you do better.
All right, very good. If people want to find out more about Mary, speaking of knowing more, you can go to votemarynavarro.com and you can find out more information about her there. Of course, the election, the primary election is coming up in June, but you're on that ballot.
Yes, and mine
Yes.
is one and done on June.
Yes.
This is not like we're doing a primary.
Right.
I'd like to also invite the audience to go, when you go to my website, my son did a wonderful thing for my 65th birthday. He made a video for my campaign, and it was just such a delightful gift, and it's just, he's my joy, so I really want to share that with your your
yeah,
audience.
that's great.
So
That's good. You can be the proud mom.
I can.
All right, very good. Nice
Thank
to meet
you so much.
Thank you very
Thank you.
much, and we'll be right back.
It takes a team effort to provide compassionate care. At Health Plus Medical Supply and El Toro Pharmacy, your personal attention is our top priority. We have everything you need, including stair lifts, rollators, knee walkers, wheelchairs, power wheelchairs, scooters, and car lifts. And we provide all maintenance and installation. Health Plus is located inside El Toro Pharmacy, where we provide the same compassion for your pharmacy and drugstore needs. Located in Moulton Plaza.
Well, hello, folks. This is Dan O'Weiler, the retirement professor, so to speak. You've seen me from time to time on this day with Ken and interviews. And from time to time, we like to do community service spots with people that we've hooked up with in the past. And today we have Stephanie McCormick from Make-A-Wish Foundation here in Orange County. So welcome, Stephanie.
Thanks, Dan. Happy to be here.
Stephanie and I became acquainted last year at our Client Appreciation Christmas event, and we were able to raise some funds to them. But before we get started in that, tell us a little bit about yourself. How did you get involved with Make-A-Wish Foundation?
Well, Dan, 41 years in the nonprofit world.
Okay.
And it was about 6 years ago when I was contacted because they had a transition at their CEO level, and basically they just asked if what do I
You were working
think
with
about
another
Make-A-Wish?
foundation?
Yeah, I was
Okay.
with, not another Make-A-Wish. I was actually at another nonprofit
Right,
at the time.
another foundation,
Yeah.
okay.
I was at Mariposa Women and Family Center.
So they did a headhunter approach.
Yes, they did.
Okay. And so how long you been with Make-A-Wish then?
It'll be 6 years in a couple weeks.
6 years, okay. Well, that's great. Now, I'm assuming it's been a great experience.
Well, I have to honestly say that this is probably the pinnacle of my career.
Oh, great.
Definitely,
Great.
definitely. It's hard to say no to Make-A-Wish. And,
Okay.
And what we do in the community to help kids with critical illnesses is just imperative.
So tell us a little bit about Make-A-Wish and your I don't know if it's your mission statement or whatever it might be, but tell us a little bit about how it works and what is it that you do?
Well, it began actually in Phoenix, Arizona, for a little boy named Christopher Gracious. His wish was to be a CHIPS motorcycle cop. For
And
all
how
of
long
you.
ago was this?
That was in 1980.
1980, wow, okay, 37 years ago.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the national office actually is located in Phoenix
Okay.
because of Christopher's wish. And it really came about through the efforts of a couple of police officers, Christopher's mom, and then some other folks chimed in. And there were really 5 founders that helped to grant this first wish. And
Just people that got together.
yeah, just
Okay.
people that got together, and
Okay.
they kept saying, well, you know, we think we can do this, because Christopher had voiced with his mom that, you know, he wanted to be a CHIPS motorcycle cop. So they all came together in a very short amount of time because Christopher was quite ill. They granted his wish. He had his own uniform. He was sworn in as part of the Arizona State Highway Patrol. He got to ride on that motorcycle
I'm assuming,
and a helicopter.
I'm assuming a few tears at the same time.
I would imagine so.
Yeah, yeah.
And thus the first wish. And it's kind of an interesting story because once the wish was over, his health declined rapidly. And the group got together after his wish and said, you know, why do we have to stop here? You know, why can't we continue on with this? So literally, they gathered together in one of their apartments and sat down on the living room floor. Back then, it was that green shag carpet stuff.
As we all do when we start business, out of our garage or
Right.
whatever it might be, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
and so they said, well, you know, we can do more for more kids, but obviously we need a bank account. So everybody emptied the change out of their pockets, literally, and what ended up on the floor was $76.32. And thus the start of Make-A-Wish.
Okay, so it's become a national organization.
Worldwide, international.
International, wow. And you're president over the Orange County Inland Empire, is that correct?
Correct.
And how many employees do you have here?
We have about 29 employees. We have 2 offices. Our corporate headquarters are in Irvine, and then
Okay.
we have an office in Riverside. So we have 62 chapters within the United States,
Sure.
and then a presence internationally of about 42 affiliates.
Sure.
And our chapter last year granted 347 wishes.
I was going to ask that. Okay, I know that we became involved last year as we do a client appreciation event at the end of the year, and we sponsor charities as part of our way to give back to the community. And we've done a lot of different ones. We've done Wounded Warrior. We did the Jesse Reese Foundation, and then we got involved with Make-A-Wish last year, and we're probably going to do that again this year. So we were excited. But what does it cost to grant a wish?
Well, the average cost for our chapter is right around $7,500.
Okay.
That's both cash and in kind.
I see.
Because quite often we have the opportunity for people to donate things to us to offset that cash cost of a wish.
Okay.
For example, airline miles.
I see.
They never expire for Make-A-Wish.
Okay.
And we have a lot of travel wishes that we do, and so those kinds of things help. Or we have restaurants or hotels that offer, you know, some deep discounts for us. Our single largest in-kind donor is Disney.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, I would imagine kids want to come to Disneyland.
Yeah, they
or
do.
Disney World.
Right.
Yeah.
So, as I mentioned before,
And it doesn't cost them anything to do that, really. I mean,
No.
I mean,
Yeah.
as far as letting them in the gates, but I mean, they're going to
Correct.
be open anyway. But that is certainly a generous on their part.
Well, I will tell you that last year Disney's in-kind totaled over 88 million.
Oh, wow.
Worldwide.
Wow.
Worldwide.
Wow.
So we are also a chapter that does what we call wish assists because Disney's in our footprint.
Sure.
So on top of that 347 wishes that I told you we granted last year, we also did 630 plus wish assists.
Wow.
And what that basically means is that's another child from another chapter coming into our territory, and of course, where do they want to go? To see Mickey and Minnie and the princesses.
Stephanie, I know last year we were introduced to you at our annual client Christmas event. We were able to raise some money for you there. We were able to raise over $15,000, which we enjoyed passing off to you. But I know that you've got had a 30th anniversary video that we had used at our event, which I thought was very telling of what Make-A-Wish does. You know, and so I thought that it would be good if we could show the folks but I understand you're at your 35th anniversary, is that correct?
It is. We'll
Yeah.
be celebrating
For Orange
that
County,
this
right?
year. Orange County and the Inland Empire.
Okay, now when did Orange County start as opposed to the
1983.
Okay, so they were a couple years after that they started, but I thought it'd be good to show the video that we used because I felt very good about it really portraying what Make-A-Wish does. And so let's show that video there for Make-A-Wish, and we'll follow up when that's through.
When I was 2.5 years old, I was diagnosed with a Wilms tumor, and I had to get my left kidney removed, and it was an extremely difficult and hard time in my life and my family's. And I think the hardest part to see is when your family is in pain. And the one thing that I truly love about the Make-A-Wish Foundation is when research can only go so far and treatment can only go so far, Make-A-Wish comes in and gives you the hope, strength, and joy, and that's sometimes all you need to keep fighting.
Make-A-Wish is not just for terminally ill children, but for all children who face life-threatening medical conditions.
Back in 1984, I was diagnosed with a kidney disease, and it wasn't until after my kidney transplant that one of the hospital social workers actually came in and talked to me and asked if I'd ever looked into Make-A-Wish. Now, I said I'd like to see Phantom of the Opera. Now, Make-A-Wish isn't known for doing anything small, so they sent me to London to go see Phantom of the Opera in the original theater. And to think that my small wish of watching a show with my father turned into that, it was a moment of hope when you're not sure what's going to be around the next corner.
Our chapter will grant 335 wishes this year, but that is less than half of the eligible wishes within our community.
I remember every minute of it. I remember it like it was a vacation last summer. We were between being picked up that morning in a big limo. My wish granters, Peggy and Dave, were there to hand my sister and I both backpacks. The limo took us to the airport, and we were off. We went to Florida and did the Disney Big Red Boat cruise, and for once in this journey, you were not surrounded by needles and doctors and weird words that 4-year-olds don't know what even it means.
And you're going to throw a hook like this.
Although Make-A-Wish is a nationally known brand, the Orange County and the Inland Empire chapters operate on a completely local basis, granting wishes to local children.
One of my favorite aspects that oftentimes goes overlooked, I think, is the family that's involved with wishes. And it's easy to overlook the aspect that families oftentimes are juggling so many things when they're dealing with life-threatening illnesses. And when Make-A-Wish gets involved, it allows these families, even if it's just for a brief moment, to come together and refocus on some important things.
The wish that was granted to our son was a life-changing experience, not only for Taylor, but everyone in our family.
And the parents watching their child smile for the first time, maybe sometimes in months, and you see that gratitude in their eyes, it just doesn't get any better than that.
There are certain triggers that I will always have. The hospital smell, white walls, they don't feel right to me. I have flashbacks.
It's hard. I mean, I'll go in the room and yell, and I would stay away from her because she would get me going. It's just hard. And that one day they told us, people are taking over, they're letting us know this is going to happen to your boy. I'll be begging, you know, take my eye instead of his, but that's the way it is.
A wish come true empowers children, strengthens families, and enriches the entire community. Never underestimate the power of the smile of a wish child. It's truly life transformational. Thank you.
Well, folks, this has been a great interview for us. As I mentioned, even though it's a financial planning firm, we work specifically with clients in setting up their retirements and setting up secure income streams for them. We also try to give back to the community as well. And our experience with Make-A-Wish Foundation last year was just nothing but positive. We were talking off air. We've also sponsored some other groups like the Albert Pujols Foundation, Wounded Warrior Project, Jesse Reese Foundation. These are all charities, but our experience with Make-A-Wish was just as positive, if not more so, than it was with any of the other foundations. And so As a financial planning firm, we like to give back to the community. We hope that you'll take the opportunity to maybe check with a Make-A-Wish Orange County Empire, is that right?
And the Inland Empire.
And the Inland Empire. You can go to their website or you can give them a call. The number will be there on your screen. And we would encourage you to take advantage of this organization if in your legacy planning you have a desire to leave some money to charity. I think it would be a charity worth considering. Hopefully you'll have a great retirement, and this is Dan Oweiler with Sterling Financial Advisors wishing you a good day. Thank you.
Well, you're probably wondering why I'm standing out here in our beautiful golf course and not playing golf. Well, I'm here for a really great reason. I'm with Danny Hansen of the Western Bluebird Club. Did I say that right? Western
Bluebird Club, yeah.
And we're here today to talk about the Bluebirds here in Laguna Woods Village. You know, this has been a very hot topic right now, and a lot is going on. The placement of the boxes, and a lot of the boxes are deteriorating. And you're on the forefront of this. You're the one, you're kind of one of the caretakers of all this, right?
Yes, I was asked to coordinate a program that had begun in the mid-1980s. And what we found of the 1,130 Bluebird boxes that had been placed in the village since then, that many had become dilapidated, run down. And the biggest problem is the amount of grass that one Bluebird family would need to feed at the end of a fledgling cycle. There are 6 babies that are adult size plus the 2 adults. And what we have here is the demonstration of what one Bluebird family requires.
Yeah, that's amazing. I never would have thought that. I thought that all they would need would kind of be like the size of this tea box that we're standing on here. But
yeah.
I think that's what most people would think. Well, I understand that there's a box just right down the course here. And we're going to take a walk down there and talk more about it when we get there.
Let's go to the pepper tree.
So Danny, we're coming up to one of the Bluebird boxes here that are right along the course. And this one's in pretty good shape, from what I understand. We're going to talk a little bit more about that. And I understand there's some fledglings inside this box, right?
Yes, these are actually the first fledglings I'm going to look at this year, probably. I haven't opened it up yet, but last week there were eggs in there.
Now, I asked you a little bit earlier. You were just kind of giving me some details. Isn't this disturbing to them for you to open this up and see how many are in there?
Yes, they're very territorial, and they do not like me or squirrels or cats or anything else coming near, and they will dive bomb us probably just to let us know their displeasure.
Watch out for them. Now, since I don't really know the patterns of bluebirds, do they hatch once a year in spring like most people think? Is it twice a year? What is it?
They will have a nest, usually around April, and they will have a 3-week actual period where after they hatch, they will fledge. And they can do this twice or up to 3 times in 1 year.
Okay.
Depending on if you get the box cleaned and ready for them right away, or there's another dead tree or snag for them to go to.
So tell me why this program, whether it's here in the village or throughout Orange County or throughout the nation, why are these Bluebird boxes so important? Can't they find places to live on their own?
And that's the perfect question. The problem is simply that bluebirds live in what's called a snag, or a dead tree. A dead tree in California that they're still observing has over 70 species existing, living, eating off of a dead tree. It takes about 20 years to complete the process. They're safer than regular trees because they're not as fire prone. They're actually safer.
Really?
Yes, it's because of you have all of the leafy thin stuff. Have you ever tried to burn a log?
Right.
You have to break it up.
Yeah.
So it's very hard, and we've taken every single dead tree around here out of here, and that leaves no home. So we simply provide a box.
And these are all made out of wood. And I asked you earlier, I noticed that some photos that you had sent me that some of them were painted blue. I think people walking around are expecting to find a blue box, but you prefer them not painted, right?
For weight purposes, plus the cedar is naturally resistant to the moisture, and it's inexpensive. We've got cedar boxes have been around for years. What our club has done is actually adapted the hooking mechanism to make it much simpler, less expensive, easier to operate and do a monitoring, which we'll see soon.
What about the amount of boxes that were here in the village? I know we've seen you talk at some of the meetings that there were something like 1,100 boxes, and we just got through talking about how their habitat to be able to feed their young is much bigger than most people would think, right?
In United, as an example, the area between gates 1, 2, 3, 4, where I've done my study at, there are now 9 boxes that are thriving in that area because of the amount of acreage that's available. There's very little. And what we need to do is, today we just saw a robin as we were walking down here. Robins and other animals and birds that eat off the grass, now they can also, we're not using every space for bluebirds.
So a lot of these boxes, I know many of them deteriorated, but were eliminated. But in a sense, this makes the population of the bluebirds thrive.
Actually, it's gone up. I've more than doubled what the other people in the village have done with their boxes, with a huge percent fewer. They're running 20 boxes, some of them, and only 1 bluebird will be existing in it.
So Danny, how did the community get up to 1,100 boxes or whatever that high number is, and to the point where, like you were saying, it was probably way too many?
This came out of the Audubon Club, founded in the 80s too by Manny Ackerman and carried on by Earl Garrison afterwards. They felt it was an ideal environment for the bluebirds, not realizing at the time how much space they actually needed. Some of this information is newer.
Okay.
And I've tried to apply the best practices of bluebirding, and the first practice is location, location, location.
And of course, many of these boxes on their own have deteriorated over the years. I mean, they are made out of wood after all, and whether it's cedar or whatever it might be, naturally they're going to deteriorate, right?
Yes, and that's why we have a person that does exclusively the wood shop making boxes that we need, but he's not really needed as much as they were because there's just way too many.
How long will these boxes last? How often did you have to trade them out? Do they need to be cleaned just because of the bluebird season by season?
They get cleaned after every nesting.
Okay.
So that's 2 to 3 times a year I will actually clean them out totally. And replacing the boxes, this is year 3 and we haven't replaced any. The door hooks are the only things that break off, but yeah.
What about, you mentioned that maybe up to 3 times a year they have their hatchlings, their fledglings. Is it the same family, or once they grow up, they all move out?
Actually, it becomes a family affair. The kids will buzz you too, as well as the mom and dad. They hang around near the nest. It's kind of the security for them to have a safe spot from bad weather.
Okay. So Danny, I understand that you folks have developed this kind of special pole to take these down. So tell me the steps. How do you do this? You know, there's several feet up. They're 10, 12 feet up, right?
Usually about 9.5 feet is our reach limit, which we want to be above water sprinklers, and the worst predator of all has been quoted many times is man. And we need to get human intervention out of it as much as we can. The boxes themselves, you'll see the hook. It's a much more demonstration than it is explanation of how simple it works. Dave Southworth, one of the residents in United that was helping out at the time, invented this little arrangement, and it's so cheap, and when you see it, you'll go, wow, that's cool.
So these bluebird boxes, are they based on a national design? In other words, did someone come up with an idea saying, this is about how big they are, this is sort of a standard that everyone should follow?
Bluebirds are real specific in the size of opening that they will go to. The woodpecker will start the hole, and when it gets to a certain size, the bluebirds will take over it. And that's how they determine what dead tree they'll go to, depending on the size of the hole.
Okay, what about the other birds? I don't know anything about robins or whatever, but do they nest the same way? Are they going to try and get in there?
Robins are not cavity nesters. They will build a nest actually in the tree.
Okay, you don't have to worry about robins.
Yes.
Anything else? What about blue jays? I understand when you talk about bluebirds, you're not talking about blue jays.
Blue jay, the California jay, I've seen in the mountains, and I haven't seen them around here, but I'm not a blue jay expert for sure. And the bluebirds, there's three types. There's the eastern bluebird and the western bluebird, and you don't see them crossing the Rocky Mountains. And then the mountain bluebird is all blue, and the western bluebird has an orange chest like a robin. That's the three types of bluebirds.
I didn't realize it had an orange chest. So somebody wants to get involved with the Western Bluebird Cup. What can they do? What do they need to know? And do you have monthly meetings, weekly meetings?
Right now we're trying to get established to be able to do this. No one has ever had permission to put anything on the common grounds. We've just gotten the first permission after 2.5 years to put these boxes in GRF trees. We're still waiting on United and Third for approval.
Okay, wait a minute though. They've been in trees for years and years and years. They weren't officially allowed, is that it?
No one ever followed protocol.
Okay, so that's something you want to establish. Once protocol is followed and you basically have a plan that the mutuals and GRF all kind of know about, that kind of makes it easier for everyone to maintain these and keep propagating these bluebirds, right?
It needs a coordinated program, comprehensive, just something that's going to work. This isn't working.
So Danny, this is really great what all you folks are doing here, and doing it the right way, making a coordinated effort to take care of these bluebirds. I didn't know anything about them. I just thought, like any other bird, they kind of fend for themselves, and I guess in certain situations they do. But here in the village, you really need folks like you to kind of look after them, right?
That we do, and it doesn't require a lot of work. It's probably one of the monitors does the par 3 course in an hour.
Yeah, not too bad. Well, thank you very much. I really appreciate bringing us out here today and educating me and educating everyone else about the importance. You've been hearing a lot about this, and now you kind of know what it really is about. Danny, thank you very much.
Thank you, Ken, very much.
Are you or someone you know having difficulty with day-to-day activities? I'm Lori with Acticare. You want to stay in your home but worry about falling or losing your independence. We at Acticare can help. A personalized plan is designed with as much or as little care as you need. Please call for a free care consultation to make your life easier and more enjoyable.
Acticare, responsive in-home care. Your first day is free. Please call us for details.
And our movie coming up today is Forever My Girl, and this is kind of a love story, and it tells the story of a country music star who left his bride at the altar after choosing a life of fame and fortune. However, he never got over his first love, Josie, his one true love, nor did he ever forget his southern roots in the small community where he was born and raised. When he unexpectedly returns due to the death of his high school friend, he is suddenly faced with the consequences of all that he left behind. Good movie, Forever My Girl. It came out earlier this year, runs about 108 minutes, starring Alex Roll as a country star and Jessica Roth as his love, Josie. And there's a little bit of it right there. Bring that to you today at 2 o'clock and at 7 o'clock. Now, our movie on Monday is a very different movie, a thriller really, called The Commuter, starring Liam Neeson. And in this action-packed thriller, his character's name is Michael. He's an insurance salesman whose daily commute home quickly becomes anything but routine. After being confronted by a mysterious stranger, he is blackmailed into finding the identity of a passenger on the train before the last stop. As he works against the clock to solve the puzzle, he is unwittingly caught up in a criminal conspiracy that carries life and death stakes for himself and the passengers. This will be on Monday at 2 o'clock and at 7 o'clock, so a very different kind of movie coming your way on Monday, a thriller. And I want to tell you something really quickly. We mentioned it yesterday that NASA is tomorrow morning at 4:05 a.m. at Vandenberg Air Force Base. They are launching the Mars InSight mission. Now, what this will be is once it lands on Mars, it will basically drill down into the crust of Mars and retain information. Well, it takes off, scheduled. The launch is tomorrow at 4:05 a.m. You can go online to mars.nasa.gov/insight, or you can just Google NASA Mars InSight mission, and you can follow the mission online. So if you want to get up, you can do that. And of course, it's at Vandenberg, which is just off the coast of Santa Maria and those areas, so you'll be able to see it. A lot of, remember the SpaceX launched from there a while ago, and people could see it as it gets down this way, and it doesn't take long for it to get down. So if you want to get up early and look out over the ocean and see it go by, you'll be able to do that, or you can follow it as it happens online. So it's nice to see that NASA is doing a project like this, and I think it says up there, it'll reach Mars in November. So it'll take about 6 months to get up there and start bringing back data. All right, quickly the weather. We're going to have some beautiful weather warming up today and tomorrow, the low to mid 80s. Things will start to back down a little bit after that, and we'll get that morning fog in, but still we're going to be nice spring weather in the mid 70s coming in to the start of next week. So just beautiful out. We are going to be about 20 degrees warmer today than we were just 2 days ago. So we went from below normal to now above normal for a couple days. A little bit of offshore wind, but not too much at all. And then you can see next week it's going to be really nice, back to that morning fog and overnight fog. Yes, may the 4th be with you. For you Star Wars fans, this is the way it's celebrated throughout the world. May the 4th be with you. So happy 4th to you. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
Mama used to Mama used to